Hey, sorry that last video finished quite abruptly, ran out of time again. But anyway, so from the last video, you should be at the point where now we've got this panel. We can walk over to it, and we know that that spawns the key over here. And then we can go over here and collect the key, and it says got the key in the top left. And now when we walk over here to spawn it again, nothing else respawns, so we can't keep respawning the key. What might also be beneficial is with the panel, so that will be in the level blueprint, when it spawns the key, or it can be after that, it just might be nice to print a string that says key has spawned, or something like that. Just so that when the character walks over here, it says key has spawned in the top left, just so that they know what's going on. Obviously, as I said, we can turn those into widgets so that they're more visible on the screen. But that all seems to be working now. So now we just need an actual door to unlock. What I've done, just mocked up a little section up here. I'm going to have a door here that is going to unlock, and it will allow me into this area, into this room. Obviously, that's just completely random. Hopefully, your maps will have reasons and logic to get into or out of places with the key system. So we need a door for here. So I can't just make a door here. I need to make it as a blueprint because it needs to be interactive. So in our blueprints, blueprint class actor, and call this door. If you may have many doors in your level, so you might have door 1, 2, 3, or different named doors. I've just got this as an example, so I'm just going to call it door. Double click, build what the door wants to be. Again, we have no 3D models, so it's going to use a cube. Which way do you want to scale it? Kind of just guessing what the size might be, and compile it. So obviously this is going to be a bit of a guessing game because when we drag this in, that's probably going to be the wrong size. Not far away, actually. So that you can kind of judge, so I know that I'm going to need to make this a bit bigger to go back into the door again. It's the viewport. And yeah, it needs to be a bit wider, a bit higher. Compile it. That'll be fine for now. So that'll be my door for now. I know it doesn't look very great, but this is mainly to show you the mechanics. The design elements are all down to you. So let's double click our door again. We need, let me just remind myself of what I need for this. Yeah, so firstly, we need a box collision area, and that's going to be just in front of the door. So when the character is at the door, it'll know. So again, scale that up so it matches the size of the door. That's fine. Okay, so when the character is in this area, it's going to trigger what's going to happen. Okay, so back to the event graph. Again, just get rid of the default stuff. So it's an overlap, a cast, and a branch. Right, so as we've been doing a few times now, we get our box collision, right click, add an event, the begin overlap. So when our character has begun to overlap that collision box, we need to cast to the first person character, object to other actor, and then we need this branch again, okay, which remember is like a condition or an if statement or whatever you want to refer to it as. And that condition we need is going to be essentially a boolean, but what we need to actually type in is and. So we need and boolean, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So and then from here we need to get the have key, if I can spell correctly. Get have key. Okay, so let's link that to there, so hopefully it makes some sense. So what it's going to do is that when it overlaps, it's going to look in the first person character, and the condition needs to be when the have key boolean is true. Okay, so that needs to be ticked. If you wanted to have key boolean to be false, then you can do it like that. So we need have key boolean to be on, which happens when we pick up the key. If you remember, everything's happened so far. And then what's going to need to be true is just going to destroy itself. So destroy actor itself, because we were in the door. All right, so fairly straightforward there. So it's going to look in there. It's going to think, okay, is the condition, is this true? If so, it will destroy the door. If this isn't true, it won't destroy the door. Okay, and you still won't be able to get into it. Okay, so let's compile that. We've got a tick. So let's test this system so far. I've just noticed that might be the wrong way around. Yep, let's do that 180. So the collision box is actually on the outside. Right, so let's try it. So we've got to come over here. The panel, which spawns the key. There's the key over there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the key there for now. And I'm going to run through here, kill the bad guys, up the stairs. And I want to get in here, but I can't. It's locked. It's not going to let me in. Okay. So what I need to do, come back down here and pick up the key. So it says got the key. Right. Kills more bad guys. You can see actually it's quite funny. They tried to get up. They can't. You can get up the stairs. They can get up these stairs, but you can test that out for yourself. But now when I walk into this area, boom, it's destroyed the door, and I can get into the area. Okay, I know it's missing all of the sort of flashy animations of the door opening and all that kind of stuff, but that's the kind of stuff that a game's artist would be doing. Like a 3D modeler or whatever that would be. Then you'd be supplied with those things which you could then apply into the game just within the blueprint in a similar way to what we've done with things like the explosion and stuff like that. So but the mechanics is mainly what we need to make sure are operating correctly. So we should have at this stage is these three things. Just a quick recap on them. So we did the panel, which is literally just visually what we see. So we've got a box with some text above it, nothing in the event graph. Then we've got the level blueprint, which that's our spawning, remember. So this is the spawning for the key. So when we stand on the trigger box, when the character stands on the trigger box, it spawns the key at the target point. So we could now move that target point anywhere we wanted, and it's always going to spawn the key at that point. When it does that, it destroys the trigger box so that we can't keep respawning the key, and then it prints a string. Okay. What we can do in the future, if you remember, and you might want to try this yourself, when we created the game over widget, and then we just had from here, it was create widget. Okay, I'm going to do that. So you could create a widget that says, key is spawned or whatever, that displays on the screen rather than just a print string. Okay, that's up to you though. So that's that. And then that spawns the key. So then our key itself has some text which rotates, rotating movement, and a collision box. And when the character overlaps that collision box, it sets the variable that we made right at the start to true, and says got the key and destroys itself. And then we've got the door, which when the character begins overlap of the trigger box, which is here, it checks whether we've got the the have key is on. So the condition is you're at the door and that boolean is true. If all that is true, it will destroy the door and you can get through it. If it's false, nothing happens, it just continues playing the game. Okay, so a few different steps there to get that working. Hopefully you'll be able to do that. If you need to rewatch over the videos and things, then you can do. So at this point, you've got quite a few game mechanics in here. You've got things you can shoot for points. You've got enemies that will run after you. You can adjust the speed of them. You can adjust the position of when they spawn, the points you get. You've got sort of a key spawning system, which will get you in or out of different areas of the map, depending on how you want to design it. So let's make sure it's working. Yeah, you've got all these sort of lights that you can do. You've been editing geometry. At this stage, you could create a much larger map. Okay, so expand the walls, expand the floor, make your map nice and big, and actually spend some time with the actual map design. Okay, because all I've done is just made everything work in the small confined space. Okay, you actually need to plan and design an actual level. So have a think about things that you could do to make it a bit more interesting. Okay, there's still some more mechanics that we're going to add in, but at the moment, what I don't want you to do is just sort of copy what I've done, because although everything works, it's not, that entertaining at the moment. There's not really much of a challenge. I know I could die, but not very easily. So have a think about the actual map design and what you could create out of this, because there is so much you could do. Think about games you played before, and yeah, I'll kind of leave you to have a go at that, and then we'll add in a few more extra things as well. We need something to complete the game. So let's say in here there was like an object that we needed to collect, which then completed the game, perhaps, and there's a screen that comes up to say, your final results or whatever it is, or you might be in an area initially that you need to get out of, so you need to find particular objects. This spawning system you could really get creative with, and with the puzzles and things, being able to access certain areas to then be able to get out of a certain area, and then there might be enemies there that are chasing you and all that kind of stuff. So there's so much you can do, but it will take just some time and some input to design and create an interesting map. Okay, but I'll stop talking and let you get on with that. But obviously the main thing is everything works. Once that's all working, you can have the creative freedom to create whatever map you want. All right.